Chapter 4 Alpha Roman. Far into the south was a pack called Southern Warrior Pack. It was not only the biggest in land area, but also the strongest in terms of strength. As the name states, the pack was known for its warriors and the heartless Alpha who had wrecked many packs due to his twisted pleasures. Alpha Roman was such a character. Everyone knew not to cross him, especially when he was out on the training field reprimanding his students. "Can you even take down a child and fight with these skills of yours?" Alpha Roman scolded loudly. "Is this why I've been training all of you? Where are all my efforts going? All wasted on you." The small group of young adults stood with their head bowed in front of their Alpha. They were scared to look at him. The senior warriors who were training on the same field felt pity for the younglings. They only started training 2 years ago, but they were unlucky to have Alpha Roman personally look over them. He wouldn't let a single mistake go. After being yelled at for another 10 long minutes, the youngsters in the little group were ready to bury themselves in the soil and bid farewell to the world of horrors. Alpha Roman pointed at the boy in front and asked, "What is the first rule of Southern Warrior Pack?" The boy straightened his back and recited carefully.
Rule 1. Never let your guard down, even around the ones you trust.
Alpha Roman grunted. "If you know that, then why did you let him take those careless shots at you? Are you dumb, or did you forget the rules? This is training, but if the same thing happens in real fight, then you would be dead by now." Alpha Roman was ruthless when it came to training, especially the younger generation. He was only 22 years old and had already taken the Alpha position for the past 2 years. In those 2 years, he did 2 major things. One was to expand the territory of the pack, and second was to nurture the warriors into being nearly invincible. For Alpha Roman, there was nothing more important than his pack and its prosperity. The last Alpha had died in a battle with rogues. He gave up his life to protect the pack, and Alpha Roman wanted each and every member of the pack to know what a big sacrifice it was and help them be self-sufficient, to carry themselves, and not be a burden in times like those. Although these ideas were great, everyone came to dear Alpha Roman due to his bride style of doing things. He wouldn't hesitate to defame anyone he found to be not good enough. He would scold them in front of the crowd without a second thought. It was as if he didn't empathize with them at all. He didn't know that sometimes it could cause humiliation. Their Alpha was just naive in the emotional department, and the warriors could only sigh and endure, sometimes cry in the night, and then wake up again in the morning for training. However, it was the senior warriors who really saw the meaning behind these acts. Although they sympathized with the youngsters, they could see that their future was brighter than anyone else in the pack. Alpha Roman's personal attention was given to these younglings, and they would undoubtedly grow up into strong young men in a matter of a few years. The small group of youngsters had 4 boys and 2 girls, all of them ranging between 13 to 15. The age is from 13 because an individual gains their wolf form at the age of 12. They would wake up early morning to train with the seniors. Then they were expected to go to school and study. Good grades were just as important. Later in the day, Alpha Roman would look over their practice personally. The endless cycle was bound to make them strong, both emotionally and physically. Alpha Roman's crossed arms loosened after he was done scolding. He placed his hand on the boy's shoulder and said, "You have potential. That is why you are here. Make use of that potential instead of wasting it. That will be a big loss to this pack." The boy named Kruger looked up with big eyes. He was only 13 this year and had joined the little group recently. Alpha Roman was the hardest on him, and sometimes it was overwhelming. But he was not complaining. He was happy to be a part of the group under Alpha Roman's personal care.
"I will reflect on it, Alpha,"
Kruger said with determination. He saw the high expectations Alpha Roman had for him. He didn't want to disappoint Alpha Roman. Good. Alpha Roman took a step back and ran a glance over the 6 students he had taken under his wing. He gave them the slightest smile and said, Now go and take a shower. Aunt Reagan has made fresh pies." The kids cheered as if they weren't scolded just a minute ago. They rushed towards Alpha Roman and hugged his waist. Alpha Roman's body didn't even move with the force of 6 young kids throwing themselves at him. He patted their heads and pretended to be disgusted. "You smell. Go away!" Alpha Roman pushed them away and ordered them to go and have a bath first before going for the pies, or they won't get any. The kids ran towards the mansion with giggles and laughter. The beta, Easton, jumped off the tree branch and landed next to Alpha Roman. "You should stop being so hard to them. They are kids," Easton said with a small frown. He didn't like how the kids were scolded every day, but it seemed like the said kids didn't mind if they got pie in the end. The pies were worth 10 scoldings like that. "They have to learn if they're going to uphold the pack after me. It isn't going to get easier for the new generation," Alpha Roman said as he took off his training vest. The t-shirt under the thick vest was soaked in sweat. Easton wrinkled his nose. Easton picked up the water bottle and threw it at Roman. Roman caught it and gulped down half of it, then poured the rest over his head, full of inky black hair. He sighed as the water hit his head and cooled him down instantly. "You are the first Alpha I've seen who is already training the new generation to take over when it's only been 2 years since you became the Alpha of the pack," Easton joked. Roman threw the bottle in the trash can. "It's always good to be prepared. Besides, I'm not like those old fools who want to keep up their seniority until death. It will only lead to the fall of the pack in the long term." Easton huffed and followed after Alpha Roman as he approached the senior warriors' training. The seniors were more accustomed to the Cola Alpha Roman and how they should behave in front of him. They stood in 3 lines and greeted him in perfect sync. Alpha Roman was pleased with this organization. Alpha Roman said loud enough so that everyone could hear. "Training ends here. Tomorrow is the Alpha's conference, so I won't be here to train the kids. It is your responsibility as their seniors to make sure they don't slack off. They don't know anything, so no need to be soft on them. The little bunch of idiots will definitely skip school, so pay attention. You are free to punish them if they make mistakes." The senior warriors secretly smiled and yelled, "Yes, Alpha!" Alpha Roman gave a few more instructions and left. The seniors packed up their training equipment and went to the locker room outside the field. They showered, changed, and talked. "Alpha Roman wants us to look after the kids, but is too cold-hearted to say it out loud. He told us to punish them if they make mistakes. But what happened to that one person who actually punished them when they skipped class while Alpha was absent?" One of the seniors gossiped and laughed. "Yeah, it was too bad. We have learnt our lesson, so be good to the kids, and they are not hard to like. Look at that boy Holden. He's good at everything he does," another one said. "I think Alpha Roman wants him to inherit his position." "Why would he do that? He'll have his own kids in the future. Does he need another child to be his heir?" a fairly new warrior of the team asked. The new one was in their team for the past 6 months and had joined them from another pack which was attacked by rogues. Many warriors of that pack were recruited by Southern Warrior Pack. Another warrior came out of the shower with a pink towel on and said, "The chances of our Alpha having his own heir is nearly 0. Haven't you heard the rumors going around? They aren't all baseless." The new recruit frowned. The rumor that Alpha Roman found his mate but killed her so he won't have to be attached? The one next to him fell on the bench. "Where the fuck did you hear that? Is that what others think about our Alpha?" The new recruit shrugged. "That's what I heard. Rumors get weirder as they're circulated. Maybe somewhere or another pack must be thinking that Alpha Roman is into men." The locker room fell silent. There was an inexplicable chill in the locker room as everyone froze. The fallen warrior stood up and cleared his throat and said, "It's better to forget about these things. Let's not worry about it now. Just know that Alpha Roman is definitely not into men. But even if he was, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Our respect for our Alpha has nothing to do with his sexual preferences. But I hope everyone will keep this to their heart and not spread unnecessary rumors." At the end of his speech, he turned his head around the locker room and gave everyone a look. Most of their faces were red and about to burst. The warrior narrowed his eyes. Suddenly, one of them laughed, and soon the others followed, as they couldn't help but find the situation funny. Outside the locker room, Easton laughed silently. He clutched his stomach and wiped a tear away. He didn't stand there anymore to listen and rushed to Roman's mansion. The kids were sitting on the dining table with a large piece of pie in their plates. There were savory and sweet pies, and everyone got what they preferred along with the sides they liked. It was the perfect dinner after a long day of training. Easton joined them, invited. Alpha Roman eyed his beta until Easton couldn't eat anymore and stated his purpose of visiting. "There are many rumors about you circulating. What do you want to do about them?" Roman bit a piece of sweet cherry pie with the whipped cream and asked, "What rumors?" Easton looked at the young kids and leaned closer to Alpha Roman and whispered to him, "About your mate." "How can there be rumors when there is no mate?" Roman frowned. "You're not making sense, Easton." "Exactly. Because there is no mate, there are rumors. They are assuming things behind your back. Some say you don't have a mate. Some say that you don't prefer girls and are hiding a man in the closet because you fear being laughed at." Roman was happy with the sweetness of cherry pie. He took another slice and placed it on Tina's plate because he knew she likes it. Tina grinned at him and said a thanks. Roman took another slice for himself and only then paid attention to Easton. "First of all, as long as these rumors don't harm my pack, I don't care how far they go. Second, if you want to have dinner in my house, then at least give prior notice. You've eaten 3 pies already. It won't be enough if the kids want more." Easton immediately slumped on the chair. The kids were eating their pies with happy smiles, but he was scolded by Alpha Roman. "Fine, I'll inform you next time. And kids shouldn't eat too much pie while they're growing up. It's not healthy." Easton forked another piece of pie and ate it. Across from him were Holden and Kruger. Both of them gave him a contempt look. "What are you looking at, you little brats?" Easton laughed. "You are a messy eater, Uncle Easton." Georgia giggled and pointed at Easton's shirt that was stained with gravy from the pie. Tina laughed along with her, and soon the table was full of giggles and laughter. Alpha Roman shook his head at Easton, but didn't stop the kids. He added a little more whipped cream on his pie and ate it in a good mood. "What do you guys think about Alpha Roman? I love his little sweet tooth."